Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program with me, Hi Hobo, where last episode we got ourselves into a parking orbit of 100 kilometers by 135, and in this episode we are going to get Cinderella to the ball. So again, I've got my piece of paper out, I've got my trajectory line, is about there. So we need to be, actually, let's do this again. So we're on a retrograde orbit, and we need to be pretty much actually at the apoapsis. So if you get your, again, go to the kitchen, grab a piece of tracing paper. If this is your retrograde line, so we're going this way, this is the way we're travelling, and this is where we've travelled from, and this is the line you draw through it, this is where you need to be when you burn. So we're going to have to do one rotation around the planet. And we'll not have to mess around with this as well, because of course Moho will not stay where we want it to forever. You can check out last episode. I think I showed you the Moho where it needs to be, what time of year you need to launch from Kerbin. Also, you tell them at either the north or the south pole there, but I'm at one of the poles looking directly down. So there we go. There is our point. We are going to get ourselves into... Whoops. Just going to throttle up a little bit just to have a bit more control here. But we're going to get ourselves there. And throttle up. And we will start escaping. Doesn't seem right. Seems like it might be upside down. Feels like we're escaping the wrong way. I think I might have got that wrong. We're going that way. One piece of paper again. So that's the line through there. Yeah, I'm going to go with the periapsis, sorry. It's the same, I mean, it's pretty much the same angle, so you don't need to adjust any sketches that you've made. Yeah, it's rough for that one. So we need to be travelling just slightly shy of 4 kilometers a second. Now, the number it gave is 3942 meters per second. However, you saw in one of the other episodes that I escaped at about 3,500, I think. Right, so we'll just need to drag this back under control here. Come on, you pig. Get. It's still so heavy for such a little engine to try and keep her under. So that little engine then is burning away. So this is how the rocket was intended to be staged. So this is the one that's going to get us out of Kerbin's influence, and then we're going to be using those atomic engines for their range. It's going to be a slow job, but this is where we're going to have a little bit of patience, because I need all of this fuel on these aerospike engines when we get to Moho, because there is nothing of an atmosphere. So everything is retro burn rockets. Just have to see how we're getting on with this. Whoops. Let's just take a See, it feels like Moho's moved a long way out of the way, but I mean, I did everything as fast as I could, so we're gonna gun with it anyway. And we're gonna do our damnedest. Although the rate of acceleration is pretty dull, to say the least. You still want to be way up here. Just wonder if it's worth dropping half these atomic engines on here anyway. Because we're struggling to really make any sort of decent impression on this, and I know that this is the higher we get, the more influential all this becomes. So there we go. That's what that looks like. On the dark side of the planet there, so unfortunately we can't really see a great deal. But it will be sunrise very shortly. And of course, once we burn through these atomic engines as well, we can jettison them. Everything becomes lighter, and we're trying to shift less stuff around in space, and we can start making everybody happy. So they're still slowly growing. Down to a penultimate tank on the little engine. The little engine that could. We're past that 1,000,000 meter mark, so that's going to help this out quite a lot. I haven't really got a lot to say on the matter, to be fair. Let's say fuel economy should, all that stuff that we saved in the beginning now should start to get magnified. It's starting to grow at a better rate as well. How high are we? We're 151 clicks. Oops, that's not the one I wanted. So we'll say about, we probably need about another 1,000 meters per second roughly, and that would be enough for us to achieve a Kerbal escape. Again, I'm just going to change that so it's just bound to the border. But, it's about a meter per, slightly over a meter per second. But it's this one here now that is really starting to experience the growth. I don't know if it's psychosomatic, but that feels like it's gaining speed a little bit quicker. I don't know if it truly is. It would be nice to have a rate of acceleration meter. I'm sure Mechanical Jeb probably has it on there, but as you well know, I do this using vanilla parts. just to show that it can be done without things like mechanical jab. Yeah, this is more your sort of 1966 space program rather than your 2012. So that's the Mun. That sounds like some engines have gone. We're actually slowing down at that as well. But it's about a minute every second. Oh, so it's the atomic engines which have gone before we've even escaped. Jesus. Here we go now then. This is where it starts to grow and grow and grow. We can probably start to just pull back a little bit. And will it? Well, of course it will, but when will it? And there we go. That's the Kerbal escape. So we'll just speed things up a little bit now then. And bloop, there we go. So here we are again. Best thing to do, I think, then, is to get about here, start slowing down, and that's the highest point. Now, is it? But the other thing we've got to take into account as well is the bend. So it would, in fact, be maybe more beneficial, because we're going to save fuel. I guess we're still going this way. Let's see. Yeah, so to start a retro burn, when all of these meet, which would be about here. And so I'm going to flip this over. Now I hope I've not left this too long to get this encounter. But there's only one way to find out, as they say. I just needed to start doing a retrograde burn the second that we got into this system. So there we go. There we go. That was an encounter with a re-encounter with Kerbal. So now we need to drag this down so that it's in line here. In fact, actually what I want to do as well is, again, I'm going to save it, because I don't want this to turn out to be another 10 episode bit. And I don't think we're going to get up here with a huge amount more fuel. I think this is about as good as we're ever going to get it to this point. This is starting to make Eve look like a piece of piss now. And that's our central rocket gun. So now we are just down to the 2 atomic engines. Looks like we are going to wind up having to use our aerospike engines to get us a little bit closer. It is tumbling, but not tumbling as fast as I'd like it to. So I'm not sure exactly how quick. 18,000. Mind you, we won't know how fast we're going until, of course, we get down here and closer to the sun. It's taking all. It seems a little bit ridiculous, doesn't it? Putting all that effort and time into creating all that speed, and then as soon as you get here, you've got to near enough just stop dead. I also, one of the other things that I know about Moho is its sphere of influence, its area of influence, whatever you want to call it, is tiny. It's not a huge amount bigger than a moon from any other planet, so hitting it is going to be, or getting caught up in it rather, is going to prove somewhat tricky. So look, we're nearly out of fuel on this one here, and that is a concern. It's got to be said. But we've not even come into an orbit path with Moho. Right, okay, so let's get rid of that stage. And let's engage the next stage, but we need to throttle way back. And we need to be very gentle with this. Now, what I think I'm going to have to do, because, like I say, I want to put this down before Christmas, is let's call a spade a spade. I think what I'm going to wind up doing with this is cheating a little bit. So if we can't, when this stage runs out of fuel, we're going to refill it with more fuel, and so that's going to be, I'll have to quit the game and do a couple of things, but I'll come back and I'll refuel these tanks, and we will get there with this flight. But that said, we're also going to try and do it sensibly as well, because we are scientists, we are astronauts, Kerbal nauts, whatever you want to call us. But I'm sure you guys don't want to see me do another launch, so I think it'd be just best for everybody if we modify the parts. You've seen that I can do it. I mean, I got to Joule, way out here, and we've done every other planet. And I may spend some of my free time over the Christmas period looking at this and trying it off camera and trying a few different things and seeing if I can get it to work. And if I can, I'll come back and redo it without cheating. But like I say, I wish to touch the face of Moho. And yeah, what's this now? This will be the 5th or 6th attempt to get that, or this, I'm sorry, 5th or 6th episode. Attempts, I've pretty much lost count, because of course every time we've crashed and burnt off the runway, we have that would classify as an attempt. So we're coming down here then to the last few gajillion, badillion, zillion, fillion, quillion, bagrillion meters, and we are So, I mean, that's strange that even though we managed to dump an entire stage of fuel, somehow this one's worked out. Mind you, that's how we haven't run entirely out of fuel yet, but I mean, it's certainly looking like it. This one was a more economical run at this particular rate. Never know, we might be able to intercept this craft and push them. So we're nearly at the point where we are at an interception. As for fuel, it's not going too badly. Oops, I always do that. About 200 seconds per tank, so we should have about a 400-second burn after we got rid of those two central. So maybe 600 seconds, 10 minutes. No, that can't be right. My maths must be way out on that. 400 litres burning at 2 seconds, burning 2 litres a second, that would be 200 seconds. And there's, oh no, but of course the tanks in the centre are being fed full weight, so they would be maybe 20 seconds each. So here we go, we're nearing the cut-off point. If we get this right first time, then we'll be in for a win. Nearly easy, but of course we need to twist our trajectory as well. I think we need to burn north to do that, and that may also aid things. Let's just see how we get on with this to begin with. I'm going to call it at that. Then we're going to head north. I've spun the wrong way to go north. Winner. Come on, stop fighting me. Now let's just see if this is burning the right direction. Yeah, it's burning correctly. So it's just these little adjustments to the trajectory that you never know, that might just keep us on this line long enough that this is what gives us our interception. Would be nice if I could figure out how to do the two at the same time and save a bit of fuel, and because this is probably also altering the height that we want to be at. One of the things I think I've heard for the future plans of Kerbal Space Program is going to be a technology development scheme for it as well. That I am going to enjoy. And having to do things like put satellites if you had to put satellites around planets in order to see them, well, you could say build a telescope so that you could see them from the ground, but then to get any sort of other readings from them, you have to send a satellite up to survey them before you can do anything else. Right, let's come around this side then. In fact, actually, what we'll do is we're going to call that the end of the episode here. The next episode then will be putting our ship into a smaller orbit. In fact, actually, no. Let's carry on with carry on with this episode until we run out of fuel, and then that seems like a good point to get off, go and refill the tanks, and come back again for another episode. Because you never know, we might get lucky. I mean, this is pretty close. So we'll go here. This, let's say, this might just slow us enough that, again, I think I'm going the wrong way here. Yeah. This might just slow us enough that this becomes an interception. It is an incredibly long way away, though. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. And 16,000 meters, I think maybe the fastest that any Kerbal's ever travelled, ever. How are we looking? So, not a huge amount of fuel left. Excuse me. Our plane seems... it's a little bit off. Again, there's nothing that can't be fixed, though. Yeah, we need to drop this quite a long way. I'd actually say it's near enough. By the time it gets into the sun, it's going to be about the time that we're going to find our interception with Moho. So, I don't know, maybe my calculations were off. Maybe we just took too long, because this is a planet which moves out of position very, very quickly. Of course, somewhere like Jool, it takes forever for it to you know, its year must be a good 1,000 days long, whereas this is probably about 26 minutes. So, yeah, it makes sense that, yeah, you have to be quick. I think maybe smaller rockets would be a better idea. But I like having this massive landing stage as well, so this big 4-prong thing. So maybe I've just overcooked a solution. So we're just going to step up the acceleration a little bit here. Just try and drag this down. How are we looking for fuel? So it's coming about halfway through this tank. Barely got any heat on them. I should really be always watching this map rather than flicking from first person and back again. But I'm not convinced we're going to do it, because it'd be about this much fuel that we're going to need to actually touch down. But we do what we can with what we're given, and as I say, at the end of this episode I'll nip off and we'll refill the tanks. Of course, we've also got to drag this is the lowest point of the orbit over here, so we've got to drag this down even further by all measures. See, that gap there as well is enough to miss the planet unless we're absolutely incredibly spot on with our orbit. And that is the last of it. So, in the next episode, we will be refilling our ship and we will continue to fly through space. I'm going to go ahead and save it there. So I'd like to thank you very much for joining me. My name is Knee High Hobo. Please rate, comment, and subscribe, and come back next time to see how we get on. Thanks very much for joining me. I will see you next time. Goodbye.